Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
All right. Hello, hello. This is Gio from GymnasticsVille, and I'm here with Steven Nedoroscik. How's it going, Steven?
It's going great. Really excited to be here at USA Nationals. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Let's get right into it. So 15-1, day one yesterday. How do you feel about that competition?
It was pretty shaky.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the routine I did wasn't a good reflection of how my workouts or the
Mm-hmm.
routines I do in workouts have been. So a little disappointed with that, but I can't be mad. I'm on top day one. And the only thing I can do is just clean up a bit, really open up that swing for day two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 1/10 away from Alec Yoder, who is also a specialist on that event, right? Talk about the competition with him, because I know you guys have competed against each other before, and you guys are both pretty dang good at that pommel horse. So, yeah, talk about his horse set and how you've competed against him.
His horse set is right now a 16 5-star value.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yesterday, I also did a 16 5-star value, but I can also upgrade by 3/10. And we've been, I mean, there's no enemies in gymnastics. We're friends, right?
Yeah.
It's really nice to have, for both of us to push each other, motivate one another to get better and better. And that's just how it's been for the past few years. And he did a great job yesterday. And yeah, I mean, there really is nothing to it. There's no
Mm-hmm.
talking bad about one another or anything like that. But yeah, we both did a great job yesterday, and it's all going to come down to how we do on Saturday.
Very true. So, what's the plan for Saturday? You said you can upgrade 3/10. Are you going to try and do that? Keep it the same, play it by ear? What's the plan for that?
So when it comes to that G flop element, my second
Mm-hmm.
skill in that routine, it is a little bit risky to do.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, this competition is for me to make it to Olympic trials.
Mm-hmm.
So not necessarily worth that risk for this competition, but
Mm-hmm.
there is that extra pirouette I can do on the dismount, which is what I was supposed to do yesterday, but I played it safe.
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't be playing that safe on Saturday, so more than likely a 16-6 tomorrow. And
Okay.
yeah,
Very nice. That's a huge set. And yeah, just gotta let them know you can make it even better. So with that G flop in, what's the start value? That's like the biggest routine you can do. What's that start value at?
yeah, that starts at a 16-8, and I believe it's either the second or third highest in the world.
Wow. Yeah. So obviously you're one of the top in the world. We've talked before about your win in Australia. You definitely have that international experience and pedigree. So that's definitely something going for you going into trials and going, having that to go into your um, Olympic route. Let's talk about that a little bit more. That process is a little more complicated for you because you're a specialist. So, what needs to happen for you to be selected to be a specialist in the Olympics?
All right. Well, there's a few things that go into it. So
Mhm.
first off, COVID really ruined a lot of things for the USA. We were
Right.
winning the all-around World Cup series, which could have gotten the USA a +1. There's
Mhm.
still two more individual World Cups
Mhm.
where I could have potentially earned myself a spot, a +1. So now the last remaining route is the guys competing today at
Mhm.
Pan Am Championships, Continental Games.
Mhm.
What we need is one of those guys to place first or second today, because I believe today is the all around competition. And through that, the USA will gain a +1 spot. Now that's the
Okay.
first part of it. And then we
Mhm.
get to Olympic trials, and from there it's going to be, 2 days of just whoever's really killing it, whoever hits those best routines,
Mhm.
whoever's gonna do that is more than likely gonna get that +1 spot.
Right. So there's definitely a lot more requirements for the specialists, and that's you're competing against other specialists, correct? Like not just pommel horse, just other guys doing one or two events.
Oh yeah, exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
All those guys also want to get that +1 spot, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, so we got a bunch of guys, Eddie Penev's trying, I know Alex Diab's trying on rings, um, and a bunch of other guys who want to get that specialist spot. So good luck to the Pan Am guys. I'm sure you're gonna be watching. Is that today?
Yeah, that'll be tonight. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Good luck to them. Shout out to them. Represent US. That's huge. And that's first or second all around?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's huge. All right. How's the competition now? Because I know um with the pandemic and everything, there's been a bunch of protocols, things like that. How is it competing? Yeah, how's the competition flowing? How's it going in there?
Well, it's a lot different, a lot more strict on
Mm-hmm.
certain times. You have to remain in your bubble. They really want you to be as COVID safe as possible. And honestly, that's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been hard for me to do when the pandemic first started, but now that's just routine. And
Right.
anything other than
Yeah.
that feels weird.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of second
wearing
nature now, huh?
masks, exactly, wearing the
Yeah.
masks. At least now we can share chalk buckets. That's awesome.
That's a plus.
But
That's progress.
definitely. But I think COVID really affected a lot of gymnasts,
Mm-hmm.
especially guys that got COVID. Coming
Mm-hmm.
back from that, there's a lot of respiratory
Oh, for
issues, and
sure.
coming back, like, your endurance is just so much worse. So
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely that factor going into it for a lot of guys. But the competition itself is also a little empty. Those
Mm-hmm.
stands are not nearly as full as they used to be, and whether that's due COVID or not, we'll tie it in there.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that. Just this past year, you've been how's that affected training at Penn State and just your workouts in general?
Yeah, so 1 year ago, a little over a year ago, I was in my
Mm-hmm.
apartment training on a drill station
Mm-hmm.
for a couple months there. I ended up going home, getting an MRI, realizing that I couldn't do gymnastics for a month because I needed to fix some wrist issues. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually about a month and a half I took off. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was able to get back into the gym over at Center Elite, a club program over near
Shout
Penn
out to
State,
them.
right? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
Yeah. Doing good things over there. Shout out to Center Elite.
Shout out. And then early September, I was finally able to get back into white building.
Mm-hmm.
And, from there, we had to do these COVID protocol masks. We
Mm-hmm.
stayed with our groups. A very bizarre year of training, and it's been pretty hard to stay motivated. But, where I'm at right now, all of that
Mm-hmm.
work I put in is worth it.
That's incredible. So we've talked about how to get to the Olympics. We've talked about your training at the Olympics. When was the last time you competed? Um, yeah, when was your last competition?
Last competition, like real competition, was Winter Cup. I
Mm-hmm.
did exhibition, a Penn State meet after Winter Cup, but there's only real competitions, where you get those nerves going.
Right.
And it feels like a real competition. My last real
Mhm.
competition was Winter Cup 4 months ago.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's definitely a huge gap, huge difference between, doing college meets, every single week. How's that affected you now? Yeah, competing not for 4 months.
I really miss competing more often.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say, like, you're gonna have these physiological responses, right? When adrenaline is running through your body, you get the sweaty
Mm-hmm.
hands, your mind's kind of racing, things like
Yeah.
that. And it's something that you have to exercise.
Mm-hmm.
NCAA was great for that. I would have, upwards of 15 competitions where I could exercise my ability to deal with that under pressure. And I really do miss that sort of thing because in the past year and a half, or I guess year and a few months, I've only competed like twice,
Right. Yeah.
and it is a little bit more bizarre. Definitely harder to do that, but
Hmm.
I'm making it work.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Well, those competitions will definitely help for sure. Yeah, with these last competitions, you only got these, last couple shots. So, um, that's huge. So closing out, I'm gonna give the floor to you and just state your case why Steven Nedoroscik should be in the Olympic team.
Hey, I put the work in every day. I'm not gonna say I'm working harder than everyone else or anything
Hmm.
like that, but I'm working the hardest that I can to my body's ability, and I've made so many sacrifices to get here and to have the routine that I can do and to show people that I'm internationally competitive. And that's about all I can do. Everything else I can't control. So I'm doing the best that I can.
Nice. All right, Steven Nedoroscik, thanks for coming on.
Of course, thank you for
Appreciate
having
it,
me.
and we'll see you next time.